Barrel or nah? Betting on surfing.
Ooh, I'm gonna say a huge barrel. And if they ever made it easy for me, and maybe it's easy now, but I still like, do you bet on surfing?
No, but I, for the first time in my life, was inclined to last week, right before we recorded. You and I got a text message from somebody who was actually promoting the West Coast board riders, which we did not discuss. They deserve
Oops,
being discussed.
they
And so maybe
definitely
we
do.
should.
That's the contest surfing that we need.
Exactly. But he also sent a link to a betting site. And I never considered betting on surfing until I opened that link, and it showed Gabriel Medina being so undervalued for this event because he's like in 21st position on the rankings. But going into Chopu, it was like I could throw $100 on Gabe,
Is he,
and win 1,000 or something like that.
is he still there? Is he still? I gotta click on that link. I missed that link somehow.
I'm gonna pull it up maybe while we're talking and see if I can find out. That was the only time I was inclined to bet on surfing, but never been inclined prior than that. Prior to
It's
that,
if they made it easy for me, if there was like website, put money here, put
right?
name here, off you go, then I would, but like fiddling with it, I've lost interest fiddling it with it before, trying to like figure out how to do it. And then like sports betting in the US is weird, right? You don't know, like a lot of it's offshore stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, is it all legit? But I wasn't interested enough to actually do the work to figure out, okay, are these legitimate sites? What do I do? It seems like it's easy in Australia where it's not
Right.
illegal.
I mean,
Here, I'm still confused.
and then do you want to put your credit card information in?
Precisely, all of
Yeah.
that, all of
Yeah.
that. Like if it was like this is legit, totally legal, above board, here's a simple, quick, I'd be in.
So Gabriel Medina, right now, I pulled up that link. You tw you spend $20, the payout is 220,
Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
right? So,
Yeah,
so you
we gotta.
put $100. So you multiply that by five and you win 1,000. Oh, more than a
Yeah,
thousand.
I mean, it's a
Seems like a
no-brainer.
no-brainer. It's nxtbets.com is the website I'm looking at right now. But I'm not
Uh,
recommending it to listeners because I don't know if it's actually safe to put your credit card information in. This is
yeah,
just
I
what
don't
somebody
either.
sent us.
Listeners,
So
please chime in after
yeah.
it's too late next
Yeah,
week.
exactly. Well, by the way, the West Coast Board Riders event took place at it was like the Nationals, the big kind of surf off at Lowers last week, and they got great surf and teams came from Hawaii, the East Coast, everywhere, and San Clemente Board Riders took the event
Shocking. Shocking that the
right at
San Clemente
Lowers.
board
Yeah.
riders won at Lowers.
This event, though, no joke, the small events are phenomenal, but this one looked insane. Like the
Yeah.
amount of people that showed up, the who's who of people that showed up, from former world champs to local legends, and the level of surfing that went down was incredible.
I mean, the concept of board riders clubs and whatnot really did not take root in America until recently. But with this whole iteration, the way that this team is leaning into it, it seems like I mean, yeah, started a fire and poured gas on it, and it's big and fun looking right away.
Well, and it's amazing that you have local Groms, who are surfing with their idols essentially in the same exact event. So
Yep.
you don't have to go through a big vetting system or anything like that. You're just if you show up and you hang with the lokes at these events, you get access to it.
It's epic.
So good job on the board riders clubs. Okay, so barrel on betting on surfing then, huh?
Barrel.
Okay.
Total barrel. Just make it easy for me.
Okay, cool. You and I are going to go broke betting on surfing based on our track record with Survival League. Barrel or nah, decaf coffee.
Uh, no barrel. No barrel David Lee Scales.
I thought you were frozen there for a
Yeah,
second.
no, I was really thinking it out because I am barrel on non-alcoholic beer, shockingly. Uh, or even non-alcoholic cocktails. One non-alcoholic cocktail, barrel. Decaf coffee, no barrel. And I was trying to suss out in my mind what's the difference between them. Uh, and the difference is sometimes like the non-alcoholic beer thing it's a real social important thing, right? Like you're
Yeah.
out, Everybody, it's just like a thing. It's a rote thing, and like drinking a Coke or something, it just doesn't work, right? For whatever reason, I'm not going to get into non-alcoholic beer here, but let us like decaf coffee. There's no time or place where a decaf coffee is the right move. It's not like you're compelled. Like if you want to drink something hot in the morning, there's all kinds of naturally non-decaffeinated, non-caffeinated hot drinks like herbal teas and stuff like that, right? So get one of them.
I mean, I agree with you. I can't imagine the place where this lands other than somebody who has a real aversion to caffeine. I mean, you got to be pretty weak to not be able to handle caffeine in, 12 ounces or something like that. But if you had a real aversion to caffeine and a real addiction to the flavor of coffee, and let's say it's an after dinner, it's past a certain hour in the day, it's a dinner thing, and you're like, man, I really want a cup of coffee, but I don't want the caffeine. Maybe decaf fits in there,
Feel
but
the decaf coffee though. The decaf coffee I've had tastes substantially different. I
it
suppose
does.
a decaf beer tastes substantially different too, but a decaf coffee is not a like a rich, it's not the way I like to drink coffee.
No. So it's not going to satisfy if you are an addict and you appreciate coffee, that's not going to satisfy the urge.
No, that's what I mean. I'd say pivot hard to another hot beverage,
Yeah.
like a tea or I mean, even, whatever. I don't know what there is besides tea, but pivot to tea.
Hot chocolate.
Yeah.
I honestly don't understand why decaf coffee exists.
Yeah, I don't either. I
Like,
don't
how
either.
did that ever gain traction?
I mean, accidentally getting decaf coffee, a bag of decaf coffee at the store, is one of my most angry moments standing in the kitchen to realize that I picked up the decaf. Why was it even there to begin with?
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's horrific.
Yep.
All right, final barrel or not? Post game evangelism. Hey guys, earlier this month you addressed the possible hypocrisy of claiming to be religious without bridling your tongue. How about the other end of the spectrum when a religious athlete is being interviewed after a big win and ignores the interviewer's first question or congratulations to take the opportunity to thank God for the victory? I'm religious myself, and I'm also quite comfortable with people knowing that about me. I'm more than happy to converse about it with anyone who is interested. I'm all for a person being of faith and integrity and not being afraid of how you are perceived. And I'm all for being grateful to God for those things that you've gotten in your life. But it gets on my nerves a lot of the time when people do this. So at the same time, I'm torn because sometimes it feels like it comes from a place of humility and it seems really genuine. Uh, and that feels good to me, but it also feels preachy. Barrel or not, Sam?
I'm gonna say no barrel Sam. As a religious man myself, it just seems like neither time nor place. I mean, it's always there's a way to be humble and to be gracious and all this in an interviewer or in an interview, but also make like your role there as a human. There's another human across from you who's got a job to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you throwing platitudes out doesn't help them either, right? Like give if you want to be a good Christian or a good whatever person of faith, give the interviewer something great. You'll make their day, right? You'll make the maybe you say something if you're a great athlete, big athlete, maybe you say something that gets them onto Sports Center or whatever at night, right? Like go harder, go above and beyond for your fellow man or woman standing in front of you.
Yeah,
Platitudes don't work.
this also falls into the same conversation we were having last time, which is it isn't the most you know clean living people that are often making this giving out this thanks. I guess there are the Tim Tebows of the world or whatever, but more often than not, it's somebody who's known they were photographed last night with strippers at the club doing blow.
It's
And
P.
now they're
Diddy.
tonight accepting the Grammy Award, thanking God on stage. And so
Yep.
it really does feel hypocritical as well, or it's with the claim or the thank to God comes a certain amount of judgment as the viewer. Maybe that's on me, where I'm just like, oh, you're pious? Huh.
Yeah.
Well, let me think through everything else that I know about you. And wow, that's weird that you're the guy flying the religious flag right now because it doesn't feel like you're very pious. You know what I mean?
It's a trap on multiple levels, I feel, and I think rarely is it actually landing. Like I think if you're
Right.
Tim Tebow, you're exactly right by singling Tim Tebow out. where it is the entirety of who he is, right? And
Correct.
so that is part and parcel of everything you get with him. Everyone else, it's not the right fit, it's not the right time, neither the right place. Um, and then conflating, I feel like that, like sporting victory, it's just an odd, like it opens the odd question of like, are you saying that, yeah, God wanted you to win and the other person to lose? It's just unnecessary.
It is. Yeah. And funnily, somebody else DM'd me an Eli Hanneman post this week. And so I was wondering if maybe Sam also, maybe that's what spurred this idea for Sam sending this. And the Eli Hanneman post was something about thanking God for something. And the commentary that somebody sent me was like, well, didn't you fall off tour this year? Like, so so again, it creates questions for the receiver or the viewer of what you're talking about. The question with Eli Hanneman was like, so you're thanking God for this thing over here, but you were probably also, praying to him that you succeeded on tour. So there's just all these questions that come with it. Are you still
It's
thanking him about that?
I mean, I just, and I don't know that anybody hears that and thinks, oh, I should, maybe think about my personal relationship with God, or, like rethink faith in some kind of way. I think it's so, like, so many people say it where it's just white noise generally. And it's like white
That's
noise too negative.
yeah.
Like nobody, I don't think hears, I mean, and maybe dear listener, again, chime in. But I don't think somebody hears, I like to give God thanks for this victory and thinks, huh, you know, I wonder if I should start doing that in my life. Or nobody does that. It's just like white noise.
I agree. I'm going no barrel on this one as well, with the caveat of live
Tim
it.
Tebow.
Well, also live it.
Yeah,
Live by example. You don't need, and then you don't need to preach it verbally. You know what I mean?
exactly.